Today I'm at the far end of the property. And you look, you can see, got a bunch of hay bales out here I'm still got to get up. But I'm at the far end of my property, and today we're going to be doing soil samples. So I stopped by the local office of the extension service from our local college here in the county I live in, and they gave me the paperwork I needed to do in order to get a soil sample done. So first thing is, you've got this little box after you collect your sample. So I'm doing 10 different locations around this 25-acre field. So once I get done, then I'll put this box together and take and pour what I've mixed up. Once I get these 10 samples and mix them all together, I'll pour into this box. And it has a place for your name and your sample number. Since I'm only doing one fill, I'm just needing to put my name on it. I don't need to put a sample number. Then they also gave me this sheet that I fill out. So it goes over your name, address, etc., email number, what county you live in, and then you want, if you want to put down a sample ID, you don't have to do that. But anyway, crop to be grown, put in on the back. It tells you what the sample of the crops are that you put in on the field. And since I'm just growing hay, I will put in forage crops. Would be pasture, orchard grass would be number 40. So I'll put that number in over here for crop code, and then put in exactly what it is, last crop. Soil information. When was the last time I had lime applied to the field? When was the last time I had, what's the prominent soils in the field? And by that, I have to go on a website. About 25-30 years ago, all this acreage was analyzed by the soil service, and they had a soil scientist come in. He took samples all over the field, and then he categorized it as to what soil was the prominent soil in sections of the field. So they have it pretty well analyzed out by grids as to how they did it. So I have to put in the largest area and do all that, and I'll show you that once I get this filled out. A sampler. So I'm using an old wood auger, and it augers down, and I got it marked with the white marks on it. I'm going to go 6 inches down into the soil, and then I'm going to take this out and put it into this bucket, a sample bucket I have. And then when I get finished with all my 10 samples, then I am going to mix them all together and put them in this little bitty box. Take a sample. You can have a probe which you can push down in the soil, and it'll take a circular sample, and you can just pull it out. You can use a shovel. There's different ways that you can do things on how to get your sample. You can see I've got my 6 inches of soil here, so I'm going to knock that off into and like I say, I'm going to do 10 sections of the field to turn it in, just to get a good representation of what the field is. Mix it up real well. Get all those samples mixed up together so you have a good aggregate of soil. Now we're going to put our box together. Okay, so this is the web survey of the United States Department of Agriculture. And as you can see here, this is the field that I took soil samples on. And they have it mapped out as to what prominent soils are in that field. So if you look over on this side, you see the percent of the area of information here is 23.3% of that soil is the largest component of that field. Then it maps it out here for you as to what the soil is, and gives you the percentage in for each of these sections on the field. What came back in the report. So this shows the sample ID. I was more interested in the fertilizer makeup of this. So it shows me that I'm low in potash, low in potassium, sort of midline on calcium. Everything else very high on magnesium, but then everything else was sufficient. So the soil pH is 6.3, which is good, where you need to be. So then the acidity is only 13%. Base saturation is 86%. And so I was looking here as to recommendations. They recommend no lime be applied to the field, but they recommend that 40 pounds per acre of nitrogen, 170 pounds of potash be applied, and then 160 pounds per acre of phosphorus or potassium. So I'll get with the local Southern States cooperative here, and we'll get that. Looks like I'll go ahead and rent that fertilizer. And so we'll be out spreading some stuff come early fall. Probably the latter part of September, I'll be spreading it again. So y'all have a good day. Appreciate you for watching, and get out and do something.